Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel and to my Technique Tuesday. I am Lisa Fulford, your creative coach, and I'm really excited about the technique I am bringing to you today. And it's one that I've done in the past, but I had never made a video for it. And I kind of forgot this technique existed, but I was thinking on the lines of doing some faux leather. And so I think this is going to be maybe a 2 or a 3-part Technique Tuesday. So maybe over the course of the next couple weeks, I will bring you other techniques that are kind of in this same realm of what I would call a technique. So I'm going to change. Oh, here's what we're going to make. I was going to show that. This is really textured. The ink is down into this, and I will tell you what this is all about when we start doing the card itself. But it's a really fun, really cute technique, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I will give those little tricks of things that I have found that do and don't work. So let's turn the camera around and we'll get started on this card. All right, so here is a picture, or you can see it up close. I'll turn on the light, but just look at how deep and textured that is. Now I know this is a gray instead of a brown, but I'm going to bring in and do brown instead of this gray. The gray looks great, but I think I'm going to try it with the brown to see how well it does. But you can see the texture in that, like right here, how it's kind of bubbled up, and these are really deep down in. So this is the technique we're going to do, and it's called faux leather. But there's a few other techniques of doing what they call faux leather as well. So I think that's the reason why I'm going to do either a 2 or 3-part series on this. So I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to tell you what all we're going to use to make this card. All right, so we have our Cajun Craze. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Then we also have another piece of Cajun Craze that is 1 by 5 1/4. We have Basic White, 4 by 5 1/4, and Pumpkin Pie, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then we have Gathering Together DSP, and that I just thought it was gorgeous. And this piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then this piece is 3/4 wide and 4 inches tall. Now the other thing that we're going to use, this is fun foam. It's self-adhesive fun foam. It's like a plasticky kind of spongy type thing, and so this is what we're going to do our technique on. So we will get started with that. So we're going to do a little bit of stamping, and then we're going to do a lot of heat embossing. I'm going to grab, I have some scratch paper here I've been trying to use. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to do this stamping, and we will do this stamping. This one's for the inside. This is the piece right here for the thank you. So I'm going to bring my embossing buddy in. We're going to tap it on the end of this piece there. And then this one here on the inside, we've got some stamping, and then we put the little piece of DSP in there. So I have some ink here. It is Cajun Craze Stays On ink, because that's what we need to do the effect with the fun foam, and then Versamark. So I'm going to use the Cajun Craze first and ink up the acorns and leaves. I mean, I guess I could have stamped it over here so that I'll try that. I just had liked it over there, but we'll try something different. Okay, so I'm going to stamp there. That doesn't look bad at all. Set that off to the side, and then need to let that dry because that Cajun craze, it has a tendency to go everywhere, and then I have a reddish stain all over my hands, and then you just can't get rid of it. So the stamp set that we're using is the Amber Autumn, but then the thank you, I brought that out of a Textured Notes. Let me grab my white embossing powder if I can find it. There we go. I forgot to get that out. Now then, another little trick that I'm going to do is this is my piece of paper that I'm going to dump my embossing powder into, and I use it for other colors as well. Like I've been using it for silver and for copper. And so I'm going to put my embossing buddy on this as well, because I've been having to throw any paper that I use that has to do with embossing powder. I have to throw those away. And I don't like to do that, because then I have to hunt for another piece of paper. So this came off of a little tablet that I have, and I keep using it, and it works nice. If I put the embossing buddy on there first, that powder does not stick. Now, let's see what I got here. We'll see if I got it all. It's hard to see. I think I did. Just trying not to get a halo, but I also want it to stick. And I have a little paintbrush in case there's something stray, and I can't tell if that's powder or embossing buddy powder. Some of it is embossing powder. Embossing buddy powder. Ugh, that's hard to say. Okay, so now I'm just going to put this right back in. And it's all gone. That is awesome. So that's a nice little trick. You might want to try that. Put embossing powder, or embossing buddy powder all over the piece that you're going to use. And then you've got it all together. So we can move that out of the way as well. This, and we're still going to use that. So let's heat emboss this. There we go. It's taking a little bit to start melting, but once it did, there we go. All right, so there's that. We're going to put some of this together so that we can clear the desk away to do the technique. I don't know if yours has it or not, but my paper has like a texture through this. There's like little striped lines, and I've never had that before that I know of. Maybe I have and just didn't notice it, but so we're going to add our PSP. This is just Tombow green, the green glue. And I'm trying not to put as much glue like in clumps. That's why I'm using the little fine tip, because I it warps your DSP a little bit, and I've been trying to be mindful of that. Excuse me. Okay, we're going to go ahead and glue down our little 1-inch strip. I think you're going to really love this technique. Can't tell if it's my paper or me. I think it's me. There we go. So that looks good. See if it'll fit. Yes, it will. I'll just put it farther over. And then our piece for the inside is right here. We're going to add glue to the back of our little DSP 3/4 inch one. 3/4 by 4. That right along there. And then we'll add it to the inside of here. Now, the reason why I'm trying to get so much off my desk is that whenever we finish with the actual technique, I did cut it larger than we're going to need. I cut it at 3.5 by 3.5, but it will get cut down to 3 by 3 because I didn't want to rely on myself to make certain I got it completely centered when I'm trying to do the technique. So far that's pretty. And I'll set this off to the side. We don't need that anymore. All right, so we're going to bring this some foam in, and I do need to grab some paper towel. I had some, and I don't know where I put it. It fell in the trash, so I gotta grab some more. Just a moment. So sorry about that. I didn't want to fish that out of the trash to use it. All right, so I will need this. And then also, you need the Stays On Cleaner. This gets very interesting because you're going to multitask, but it is not so hard. At least I'm saying it's not. I'm going to open my Stays On. I'll go ahead and start adding some, but I'm going to lay the ink pad on my stamp. So let's see if I can get scooted over far enough to be able to show. So I've got this going here. I've already inked up some of it, but I'm leaving the ink pad on there. Because if it's not covered, it dries out, and then we're going to be blowing high heat to it. And so I'll take this is my little calendar for each week, things that need to be accomplished. I'll put my paper towel here because we will need it. I'll go ahead and open up my Stays On Cleaner. Now with your Stays On Cleaner, you only want to dab, you don't want to rub because it'll tear that foam pad off. So this is just fun foam, and it is it came in a sheet of it. I don't have one right here by me, but it comes in a sheet of it. I'd say maybe 5 by 7, something like that. And then it is self-adhesive on the back, so that makes it kind of nice. So we're going to take our heat gun. We're going to heat it up. So we want to turn it on, and then we are going to heat this, and you'll see it start changing. And See if I can get some more lights on so you can kind of see what's going on. I have to keep it kind of dark in here a little bit behind because then the screen starts rolling. Now it starts dull and then it starts turning really shiny. If I can get this up higher. I don't know if that helps. This is so dark that it starts curling up and then it starts curling the other way. You just want it good and hot, but you don't want to melt it. You want to heat the whole thing. You want it to be really pliable. Now, I've got my ink here. I'm going to go ahead and start adding ink directly to this stamp. Now you want a line, like a line stamp. You don't want a real detailed, super detailed, like a thick, solid image. Then you want it to be red rubber. It doesn't work so well with photopolymer. Okay, turn that off. And I'm going to open this up, and I'm making fingerprints. That's how warm this is. And then I want to get it as centered as I can and press. Don't slide it or anything. I'll go ahead and put my lid back on here. I have one of these things for my stamp, repositioning stamp thing. So I'm going to try not rock it too bad. You got to press. It will, the heat will dissipate, and then it will form to your stamp. And because we melted it and made it kind of shiny and it changed a little bit, it looks like when I was younger, they had kits that you could get where you could carve your leather, or you could use stamps and hammer images into it, and then you would rub a kind of not a chemical but a stain over it, and it would go into the grooves and it would be darker in the grooves. Let's see if it worked. And it did. It has my fingerprints in there. Let's see how beautiful that is. And with it being on the brown, it looks more like leather. But you can see like the raised up bits and pieces. And then the corn, the detail in it. Isn't that gorgeous? But right there's my fingerprints because it was soft and pliable. So that's the technique, is using, you have to use black StazOn or it will not dry because it's a type of a plastic. Oh, and then I need to bring in paper towels, put this down, and if you do it once and it doesn't work, you have to get a new piece because it will not, you cannot line it up again and the ink stays. I don't know if you can use this to take it off there or not. So I'm just tapping this on to my stamp and pressing, trying to get it all. Can't get it all out. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a moment. This is also a technique that I thought everybody needs to know how to do, is to clean your stamps when you do use StazOn, because it stains everything. Now, the reason why I said photopolymer, you could try photopolymer, but I don't know how that works because it's a different technique for making those stamps. And so these are a little bit more durable type stamps, the red rubber are. As for the photopolymer, I did not try it. I was thinking on my own that back when I did it before, we didn't have photopolymer, and so I didn't try that. You can use StazOn with photopolymer, but you got to clean it right away. So that actually took all that off pretty well. Whoops. But I'm also going to now use my little bit of my chamois. Let's see if I can clean that the best that I can, because I don't want to keep that chemical on there either. So there is that. Now, you can cut this with a regular paper cutter. I'm going to show you, but also you have to do some finessing with it. So this is 3.5, and I need it to be a 3 by 3. So I'm going to go down to 3 1/4. On each side. I just was making certain. So I'm going to take my paper cutter and come back and forth 2 or 3 times. And I'm going to turn this. I'm trying to get it down to 3 by 3, but because I haven't taken that off yet, I'm going to still do 3 1/4. Same way here. So I'm just going around because it's not cutting through the back side yet. You just have to heat your fun foam. And then you have to have your image inked up. And then you have your fun foam heated. Then you stamp your stamp down into that fun foam. Now I have a Carl rotary cutter, and it cuts this just like it's just a copy sheet of paper. This all comes apart, and there we go. Now I wish that those fingerprints weren't there, but I don't know how to fix that without ruining the image. So it's going to stay. It is a homemade card. All right, so now then we're going to line this up with our pumpkin pie. Get it about where I think we're going to want it. And I'm just going to peel back, oops, peel back this corner and take this backing. Press that into, whoops, press it into place. I can lift this up. Now you want to make certain that you keep it straight. I did not. It's so sticky. Maybe I would have been better off. When I'm on camera, I get nervous, I guess, about doing it right, that I end up messing something up. Try to just be myself, but now it does get a little distorted. There we go. It does get a little bit distorted because of the heating process. But isn't that just gorgeous? It looks like leather. There we go. It's kind of shiny. And we're going to add dimensionals to the back of this. hope you will give this technique a try. It is a lot of fun. You can come up with a lot of different things. But like I said, you need a nice lined image. It works best. And I know I'm going overkill with the dimensionals, but it does kind of have some weight to it because of the foam, and the foam naturally wants to curl. And so I am trying to make certain that it will hold. So if I taught you something today, or you just enjoyed this video or this card, please give me a like, a comment, and a share. Let me know what you think about this gorgeous card. I thought it was really cute. I don't know which one I'm going to like better, the gray one or the brown one. And you don't need any other embellishments to this because it's just so cute. So here's the gray one. And there's the brown one. I don't know. I kind of like the brown one. But the gray one's pretty as well. Now I did do another one just to see about the having more detail. And I used this one. Now I didn't finish this. I did some stamping on the background just in like the same color. And you can see the detail like popping up, but it kind of on the, this is such a fine detail, the ink got really heavy there. And so, and same way here. So it's all right, but I also smeared it because it was so heavy there, and I had to take a paper towel to dry it because it wouldn't dry. And I kind of smeared it a little bit. So I'm like, do I like this one? It turned out cute. And I still need to put a sentiment on there. And this red was the only one that I could find to kind of go with this. Now, I just bought my fun foam at Walmart. They had a thick pack of it, all different colors. They didn't have very many brown ones. There was like 1 or 2 gray ones. There might have been a couple of the red ones, but they've got it in pinks and lime greens and all kinds of colors in them. You can order it offline, but I just went to my local Walmart and purchased the pack there because it had colors in it that I wanted to do. But I just need to add a sentiment to this, and then this one will be ready to go as well. I'm certain that whoever receives it isn't going to pick it apart like I will. So, but anyway, so here are the 2 cards. Here is a little extra card, and so that is the technique I have for you today. Now this is the first one that I say is a faux leather, and hopefully next week I will have a second part for another type of faux leather, so you can do it different ways. So I'm really looking forward to that one as well. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure bringing this technique to you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, happy stamping.